Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today it's the 29th of July 2022. As usual, before we get into it, if I could ask the favour, and that's if you would please subscribe to the channel, that'd be excellent. Every subscriber helps and is appreciated, so if you wouldn't mind hitting the button, that'd be excellent. Righty ho, today, good old UFO and their album from 1993, High Stakes and Dangerous Men, gets a welcome reissue, and it's packaged alongside the Lights Out in Tokyo live album as well, which makes it an excellent package indeed. And of course, this was UFO's first album since a somewhat misstep that was Misdemeanor in 1985. Then they disappeared for a bit. Phil Mogg got the band back together again, tempting back Pete Way, and also bringing in the excellent Lawrence Archer on guitar and Clive Edwards on drums. High Stakes was, for me at least, a welcome return to form from UFO, and it's the only album that was recorded with this lineup because, of course, for the follow-up, Walk on Water, some bloke called Michael Schenker turned up again. I don't know if you might have ever heard of him, but apparently he's quite a good guitarist. Anyway, High Stakes and Dangerous Men, it's a tight album, I think, good album. Often overlooked in UFO's catalogue. Lawrence Archer performs admirably throughout, shredding away nicely and showing that he's got the chops to justify his place. And he does that even more so on Lights Out in Tokyo. And drumming wise, Clive Edwards has a more technical approach to the raw power of Andy Parker. Now, overall, I'd say High Stakes and Dangerous Men is a little bit more melodic than previous UFO albums, though it does still carry plenty of that typical swagger, top-class guitar work, and Phil Mogg's unmistakable voice is on top form. The opener, Borderline, thumps along like UFO openers tend to do, gives Archer an early opportunity to show what he can do, and he takes it. A superb, restrained and refined solo showing that he's fitting in well with his new bandmates. Of the other cuts, Burning Fire and Backdoor Man, nicely brooding bluesy bass numbers. Running Up the Highway's got that chunky heaviness typical of UFO and more Archer six-string histrionics. And of course, no one does the sort of a hard stroke, melodic stroke ballads like UFO. And there's some here as well, such as She's the One and Don't Want to Lose You in particular, featuring all those classy hooks and melodies that UFO trademark. Now, it's a shame that High Stakes and Dangerous Men is the only UFO album featuring Lawrence Archer. It would have been interesting to see how the band would have developed had this lineup stayed the same, but of course it didn't. And for Walk on Water, we got the classic lineup back together, if you want to call it that. But I should do a review on that album because it's excellent. But anyway, back to this, and Lights Out in Tokyo, the live album. There's around 80 minutes of the set here. This lineup, touring the album, blasting out a mixture of 5 cuts from High Stakes and Dangerous Men, 8 classics, and 1 cover. Now, the songs from High Stakes stand up very well live. The classics include, well, you can probably guess what they are. I mean, amongst others, we've got Too Hot to Handle, Cherry, Love to Love, Lights Out, Doctor Doctor, Shoot Shoot, Rock Bottom. You probably named all them anyway, didn't you? And it's interesting to listen how Archer puts his own stamp on things and gives more evidence that he's more than up to the task here. Now, Rock Bottom was always Schenker's showpiece, wasn't it? And here, Archer cuts loose to show on Rock Bottom on this Lights Out in Tokyo. So Archer cuts loose to show what a fine player he is. It's classy stuff indeed. An excellent reissue of an often overlooked UFO album, and packaged along with the live album. That is just the cherry, no pun intended. See what I did there? Just the cherry on top. All good stuff. And of course, this year UFO are due to, play their last tour, aren't they? But that's quite sad because I've been a fan since mid 1970s, and they still remain my boys to this day. But anyway, that's me getting all nostalgic, isn't it? But High Stakes and Dangerous Men, excellent album. Lights Out in Tokyo, good as well. Excellent double package. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can check it out on Amazon if you like, all the usual formats, blah blah blah. Please subscribe to the channel before you go. That really would be excellent. And of course, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.